Hello, I hope everyone's doing okay. So I've written another story. Well, in fact, I kind of wrote it when I was about 10 years old because I made a picture book for my Year 6 teacher when I left primary school. But I never kept a copy of the story, so I'd kind of forgotten all about it. But then recent events have reminded me, so I thought it'd be quite fun to rewrite it and share it with you guys. So put your hand up if you're in need of a haircut at the moment. Yeah, I know I am. So we can't go to the hairdressers, so everybody's hair is getting longer and longer and longer. So I thought it'd be quite fun to write a sequel, a second story to the Rapunzel story. Usually I tell you my stories, but today I am using some notes because there's lots of rhyme to remember, which is quite tricky. Rapunzel's story has been told quite a lot. There are different versions, but it's the same basic plot. About a beautiful girl rescued from a tower by a prince. Well, I'm here to tell you what's happened to her since. So this is Rapunzel before our story starts. So Rapunzel was a girl that was locked in a tower by a wicked witch, and Rapunzel has really, really long hair, which the witch used to climb up into the tower. Now, in most versions of the story, Rapunzel was saved by a prince. Now, in this picture here, the witch is actually present. The witch is there. Can anyone see where the witch might be? Yeah, she's hiding in the clouds up here, so you can see her face and then her two wicked hands. Wahaha. So, as I said, Rapunzel was saved by a prince, and of course they got married. Married to royalty, you'd think she's set up for life. Unfortunately, a witch's curse brought on trouble and strife. You see, when Rapunzel was in that tower, the witch who had trapped her there used her great power to place a curse making Rapunzel's hair always grow long. You might think that sounds great, but in fact, you'd be wrong. So here is Rapunzel. She's now married to her prince, and they now have a baby together. Now, life can be quite hard as it is. But it does look quite tricky when you've got hair this long. It must get in the way. Her cat has got lost in her hair. The baby food has been spilt in her hair. And the baby's pulling on her hair. She doesn't look very happy. Rapunzel visited the hairdresser almost every day. And with each visit was a bill to pay. Whatever the cut, her hair grew back quick. In a matter of hours, it grew back long and thick. So she's just got her hair cut into a short bob. Oh, that looks so much easier to manage, so she looks quite happy. But of course, she has to pay for her haircuts, and she's going almost every day, so it's quite expensive for her. I don't know if you can see, but the lady in the background, it's her job to sweep up all of the hair that's been cut off. And she's looking at their hair thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to sweep up all of this? And this hairdresser's called Hairy Godmothers. As the years passed, the problem grew bigger. The amount in their bank account became a small figure. So she's spending so much money getting her hair cut so often that she's running out of money. By this time, the royal pair had a young daughter who chose to ignore the lessons her mum taught her. She'd decided that if she ended up in a fix like her mum, she would be ready for whatever would come. She wouldn't waste time waiting for a prince to save her. She'd save herself. She'd be stronger and braver. So her mum's teaching her, and she's written some things on the blackboard here. It says how to be a good damsel in distress. So a damsel in distress, you find them in fairy tales a lot. And they're usually a young girl who needs saving, and they usually get saved by a prince or a knight. So her mum's teaching her how to be a good damsel in distress. Number one, you must look pretty. You must wait for a prince or a knight. And number three, sing beautifully, because of course that's what attracts the prince or the knight to you. So Rapunzel's daughter is looking at the same book that her mum is teaching from. So she's on the page about looking pretty. But I don't know if you can see, she's actually hidden another book inside. And she's really reading about self-defense. and in her bag she's got a book about taming dragons. So if she ever found herself in trouble like her mum, she wants to be able to save herself or do something about it herself. She knew she had to fix her family's problem, though it would be hard, but she had a secret weapon, her library card. Wow, that is a very good secret weapon. Put your hand up if you have a library card. Yeah, high five if you do. Bam. So we can't visit our libraries at the moment, but you can borrow ebooks online from your library, and you can also borrow audiobooks, so we can still use our library even in lockdown. If her parents were to get their fairy tale ending, she would have to fix her mother's spending. She took out books from the library to teach her new skills, which would hopefully help to pay off some bills. She studied and practiced, she cut and she snipped, until her mum was satisfied that she was equipped. So she's taken some books out on hair cutting. You can see them on the floor here. She's looking at a book here, and it's teaching her how to cut a short bob haircut. She's practicing on her dollies. She's already cut the hair of these dollies here. She's also practiced on her dog, so there's lots of fur on the floor, and her dog now has a rather strange coat of fur, which I think the cat is quite surprised about. She's also got a crack in her wall because, of course, the castle is in a state, it needs repairing, because, of course, they don't have very much money at the moment. She studied and practiced, she cut and she snipped, until her mum was satisfied that she was equipped. Then she used all that she'd learnt to style her mum's hair, and she cut it with skill. Yes, she cut with great flair. So she's read all these books about cutting hair, and now she's really good at it. She's practiced as well. So now her mum doesn't have to go to the hairdressers. Her daughter can cut her hair. Well, that's going to save her lots of money. When returning the books to the library, the girl saw a knight. He cowered in the corner, staying out of the light. Said the girl to the knight, "What is it you fear? Are there ogres or witches or dragons near here?" "No, we're safe," the knight replied. "Well," said the girl, "tell me, why do you hide?" "Last week I fought a dragon in a kingdom far away. Of course I defeated it, but it was difficult to slay. And that dragon brought onto me a terrible curse. I really don't think it could be any worse." "Oh dear, I wonder what happened." It sounds like something really terrible happened. I hope the knight wasn't hurt too badly. "You see, as we were fighting, just before I struck him dead, that fire-breathing brute burnt the hair off of my head." So the knight has lifted up his helmet and showed his head, and oh dear, there's a patch there where the hair's not growing because the dragons burnt it off. Oh dear. Now I sort of know a little bit of how the knight might feel, because I've actually got a scar up here from where I fell as a child, and I get a bit embarrassed if people look at my scar. So I know he might be feeling a little bit embarrassed. But I don't really think that could have been the worst thing to happen when fighting the dragon. The knight continued, "Now because of that brute, no damsel in distress will find me handsome or cute." Oh dear. The young girl sighed and rolled her eyes in despair, but still agreed to help the vain knight with his hair. Armed with her library card, she took out more books to help with her plan to restore his good looks. Later she gathered the hair she'd cut from her mum's head and started to sew it together with a needle and thread. But what's she making from the hair? She's making a wig. When the knight put on the wig, he felt his good looks were restored and thanked the young girl with a hefty reward. So he's giving her lots of money to say thank you for sorting his problem. And she's also lent him the book from her bag about taming dragons, so hopefully he won't have the same problem with dragons again. Just then the girl had an idea that was clever and might just fix her parents' problem forever. She rushed home, made posters and put them up everywhere, hoping to find others in need of new hair. So I'll show you one of the posters. It says, "Always wanted the hair of a princess? Well, now you can have it. Call this number to make an appointment." The customers came. At first business was slow, but as the word spread, it started to grow. Soon all round the town, both the guys and the girls sported luscious blonde locks in straight cuts or in curls. So lots of people have been buying the wigs and they've all got this luscious blonde hair. I think it would be quite boring if everybody looked the same, but they seem to quite like it. So the witch's spell, which had once been a curse, was now helping to fill Rapunzel's bank and her purse. And that is how Rapunzel was saved once again, but not by a prince, by a smart girl, aged 10. I'll show you that last picture. There's quite a lot going on. So here is our knight, and he is wooing some girl here. Do you know who this is? Yeah, that's Baby Bear from the Goldilocks story. And he's saying, "Look at me, now I look just like Goldilocks." Do you know who this might be? You might not recognise her because her hair is different. Yeah, this is Snow White from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And she is thinking, now my wicked stepmother will never find me. So she thinks because she's got different hair, her stepmother won't be able to recognise her. Uh-oh, who's this behind? Oh, she's saying, "Would you like an apple, dear?" Who do you think that might be? Yeah, I think that might be the wicked stepmother. But Snow White won't be able to recognise her because she's got a blonde wig on too. I hope you've enjoyed today's story, and hopefully I might see you again soon for another story.